When you're lost in thought, you're not speaking, you're listening. But have you ever truly stopped to ask yourself, who are you listening to? What is that voice inside your mind? Is it really you? Or could it be something else entirely? Something quieter, more elusive? Something that weaves both truths and illusions into every whisper? Think about it. There's a constant stream of mental dialogue running in the background. It narrates your life, questions your choices, replays moments from the past, and imagines countless futures that never seem to come true. But what is this voice, really? And why does it seem to have such an unshakable grip on you? Here's a truth that most people never come to realize. You are not your thoughts. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who listens to it, the still, silent presence behind the noise, the observer, the witness. And yet, we spend our lives entangled in that voice, believing everything it says, reacting to its fears and fantasies, letting it define our reality. But what if you didn't have to live that way? What if the voice wasn't in control? What if that endless noise could be turned down, or even let go of entirely? What if the peace you've been searching for wasn't out there in the world, but hidden behind the very thoughts that cloud your vision? The truth is, the mind has a relentless need for control. It thrives on movement, on analyzing, solving, planning, regretting. It keeps you busy, distracted, caught in an endless loop of doing and worrying and anticipating. And while your attention is hijacked by this internal storm, life quietly slips past you, moment after moment, unnoticed and unlived. You miss the stillness. You miss the wonder. You miss the quiet miracle of simply being here now. In this video, we're going to explore how to go beyond the voice, how to break through the illusion and connect with the deeper, untouched part of yourself, the part that doesn't need to think to exist, the part that was never broken, never anxious, never lost. And if you're still here, diving deep into these questions with me, let's make it official. Comment 100% down below to confirm that you've absorbed this part of the journey. It shows you're not just skimming, you're fully tuned in. Let's keep going. You'll learn how to recognize the noise for what it truly is, a passing storm, not the sky itself. And through that recognition, you'll begin to rediscover something profound, a sense of inner peace, a clarity that doesn't come from fixing or achieving anything, but from simply returning to what's always been within you. So take a deep breath and let everything else go for just a moment. No plans, no problems, no past or future. Let this moment mark the beginning of a shift, a return to the self behind the thoughts, to the calm that waits behind every chaotic wave. Because here's the truth, the voice in your head isn't you. And once you truly see that, feel that, you'll never look at your thoughts or your life the same way again. When you're left alone with your mind, no distractions, no noise, what rises to the surface? Is it a calm, gentle presence that guides you with clarity and care? Or is it a restless stream of thoughts, an endless internal monologue that critiques, plans, judges, replays? For most of us, the answer is clear. There's a voice inside that never sleeps. It comments on everything. What you just said, what might happen tomorrow, what you should have done 5 years ago. It spins and spins, never satisfied, never still. But here's the awakening moment. That voice is not you. Pause. Really feel this. If you can hear the voice, if you can observe what it's saying, then you can't be the voice itself. You are not the thought. You are the awareness that notices the thought. You are the space in which the voice arises and fades away. And that simple shift in perspective changes everything. Because once you realize you're the listener, not the speaker, you begin to reclaim something incredibly rare in our world: inner stillness. So why is the voice so loud, so persistent? At its core, it's not malicious. This mental narrator evolved to protect you, to make sense of your environment, to avoid danger, to prepare for what's next. But in its effort to keep you safe, it often keeps you trapped. It replays wounds, fixates on imagined futures, and hijacks the present moment with stories that rarely serve your peace. Picture this. You're watching a beautiful film, the ocean at sunset, waves gently rolling in, and someone next to you won't stop whispering, "Why is the tide that high? Did you leave the stove on? What does this scene mean?" That's what the inner voice does. It talks over the moment. It drowns out the beauty of simply being here. So how do we find our way back to silence? We don't fight the voice. We observe it. Close your eyes now, just for a few seconds. Let the thoughts come. Maybe they're about what's happening in this video. Maybe they're planning your next move. Maybe they're whispering doubts. Let them speak, but don't engage. Watch them like leaves floating down a river. Notice how the voice behaves like a separate entity, telling stories, asking questions, looping the past. And here's the deeper truth. That voice is nothing more than a habit. It's a pattern, conditioned over time, strengthened by repetition. When you stop identifying with it, when you look at it with curiosity instead of attachment, something incredible happens. A quiet space opens up. This space, this gap between you and your thoughts, is freedom. Because the voice feeds on your belief in it. The more attention you give, the louder it becomes. But the moment you step back and simply observe, its grip begins to fade. You stop being the character inside the story, and you become the witness, calm, steady, aware. Remember this always. The goal isn't to silence the mind. That's not realistic. Thoughts will always come. That's their nature. But you are not the clouds that drift across the sky. You are the sky itself. Vast, untouched, ever present. This is the foundation of real peace. Not eliminating thought, but discovering the one who sees it all. The deeper self, the silent watcher, the real you. Now let's go even deeper, beyond thoughts, beyond the voice, into the raw terrain of emotion. Because if the voice in your head can stir up noise, then emotions are the thunder that follows. You see, letting go isn't a neat or easy process. Some emotions live in us like echoes of old storms, tied to heartbreak, betrayal, failure, shame. They don't just visit us. They settle in, take root, and shape the way we see the world. But even here, the truth remains unchanged. You can feel without becoming. You can observe without absorbing. You can honor the emotion without letting it define you. Here's something most people don't realize until they're exhausted. The heaviness you carry, the sadness, the rage, the fear, isn't just from what happened. It's from how tightly you've been holding on. We hold on to stories, to who hurt us, to how we were wronged, to all the ways the world didn't show up for us. But emotions are energy. They were never meant to be stored. They were meant to move through you like weather, felt, acknowledged, and then released. When you resist them, that energy stagnates. It crystallizes into baggage, emotional weight you carry every single day. Think about it. A painful moment might last 5 minutes, but your mind replays it for 5 days. 5 months, sometimes even 5 years. And every time, it feels fresh again. Not because the event has power, but because your attachment to it does. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter. It means refusing to let it control your present. Here's something gentle and powerful you can try. Bring to mind a recent emotional wound. Notice where it lives in your body. Maybe it's a heaviness in the chest, a tightness in the throat, a tension in your shoulders. Don't try to fix it. Don't rush it away. Just be with it. Then, with a slow inhale and a long exhale, say to yourself, I acknowledge this feeling. I allow it, and I release it. Feel the breath soften the edges of the pain. Feel the body begin to loosen its grip. You don't need to force anything. You just need to stop resisting. There's another tool, just as simple, labeling. When emotion rises, give it a name. This is sadness. This is anger. This is fear. And in that small act of naming, you create distance. You are no longer in the emotion. You are watching it, holding space for it. And in doing so, you reclaim your power. Because life isn't about never hurting. It's about learning to move through pain without getting stuck in it. To feel the wave without drowning in it. To cry, to grieve, to rage, and then to breathe again. True strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the courage to face it with open hands and a quiet heart. Now let's turn to one of the deepest sources of inner tension, control. We chase it constantly. Control over our time, over people, over outcomes. It gives the illusion of safety, as if mastering every variable could somehow protect us from chaos. But here's the truth. Most of us discover the hard way. The more tightly you grip, the more life slips through your fingers. You make careful plans, only to watch them unravel. You rehearse conversations in your head, yet reality rewrites the script. You try to steer your path, but the road curves in ways you never expected. And it's disorienting, even painful. But it's also one of life's greatest invitations, to let go, not in surrender, but in wisdom. Because control, for all its comfort, is an illusion. The sky doesn't ask your permission to rain. People won't follow the rules you've assigned them in your mind. And no matter how many hours you spend worrying, the future will still arrive on its own terms. Clinging leads to suffering. You resist what is. You fight the tide. You become tense, reactive, endlessly striving. But what if you loosen your grip? What if instead of forcing life to follow your script, you let life show you its story? Not because you've given up, but because you've started to trust. Trust that even if things don't go your way, they'll still be okay. Trust that you are adaptable, resilient, open to what comes. Here's something to try. Bring to mind a situation you've been trying to control, a result you're obsessed with, a person you want to change, a plan you need to work out. Feel into it. Where does it live in your body? Maybe it's a tight chest, a clenched jaw, a flutter in your stomach. Now, breathe. Inhale slowly. And as you exhale, imagine that tension softening, that grip loosening. Say quietly, even just in your mind, I release this, I trust the unfolding. And mean it, even if only for a moment. Because letting go doesn't mean you walk away. It means you stop pushing. You act with intention, with heart, with care, and then you let the rest go. You stop trying to force the rhythm of life, and instead, you begin to feel it. You move with it. You trust its pace. And in doing so, you find something you've been chasing all along: peace, If you're ready to unlock even deeper truths about the universe, click on the next video. Your journey is just beginning.